yoga. I don't know. You're always looking like 6 or 12 months ahead. And like even in the van right now, I'm working on a new album, new projects, and we're already talking about new design and new ideas. Everything from t-shirts to the way, like completely doing something different with technology. And it's all about, like the thing about it is when you're doing a project, there's the really fun part at the beginning where everyone comes up with all these cool ideas and it's a lot of fun. Then comes the not so fun part where you've actually got to make it all come together and you have all the elements there, and then you've got to do it, which is no fun whatsoever. But you've always got to remember that when you first came up with the idea, it was an awesome idea. Like with Hello, My Name Is, that was about 18 months in the making. And, you know, when the songs all first happen, they sound great, and then you just got to keep pushing them. When we first got the offer from Blood on the Dance Floor, it was really exciting. But booking flights, dealing with insurance, driving for 8 hours is not exciting. You just got to always remember that, well, it's rock and roll, and there's really fun parts and there's not so fun parts. We met Valerie at the Triton Festival, Vampire Freaks Triton Festival, last October. And she is a rock pig. She was with the Crew Shadows, and I think within 2 minutes of meeting, I offered her the job. I didn't even know anything about her. She was a common friend through Jen from Area, and she did 2 Crew Shadows tours, and anyone who can do 2 Crew Shadows tours can do anything. And we got along really well, and now Val's in Angelspit. And she brings wild, frantic insanity to the band. Or I should say more wild, frantic insanity. Because like the thing is with that, if you want guitars that are perfect, get a machine. That's our ethos on everything. I think ultimately Angelspit, where our roots are in punk music. And you know, with Valerie, it's like the guitar parts are a suggestion. Basically rip shit up. That's what it's all about. The chords are not, you know, E, G, E, A. It's fuck you, motherfucker. That's the chords. And she's got to get across the wildness that's in the music, which she does perfectly. We met Matt James, our new drummer. I had a conversation with him after Chris Kling, our original drummer, couldn't do it anymore. And we just had a 10-minute conversation over a table. The guy's amazing. Matt's got a really heavy, funky feel, and our core element, our biggest influences are funk music, like Stevie Wonder and Bootsy Collins and George Benson and Earl Klugh and all that stuff. Massive influence, and Matt's got the funk, and he's got a heavy slamming feel with the funk. So I really, really like that. And when you mix all the elements, it's this wild, crazy, chaotic beast. So that's what Angelspit Live, and of course the Lyre. With the Lyre, I said, I want you to build an instrument that is a video synthesizer that no one's ever built before. So we're going through heaps of trial and error. He breaks it every night, and there's cameras in my face and in Amelia's face and in everyone's face. And his job is to basically bring chaos. And also to push that stuff online and to stream it and to really push the concept of what cyberpunk is in this time. So it's all about crazy punk rock. Ballistic electro punk, fuck you. It comes down to an idea. For example, somebody who loves somebody so much that they want to turn them into a jacket. Or somebody who loves someone so much. Actually, there's a song on Hello, My Name Is called Violence. And it's actually about loving someone so much that you need to burn them and cover yourself with their ash. And which is very fucked up. So that all started with a visual idea. It actually started with the idea of when Pegasus runs through the clouds, his hooves part the clouds. And that's an important lyric in the song, and it's this visual concept of something beautiful but horrific, and you know, that's where a lot of it starts with images, and from there expands. And Hello, My Name Is was really inspired by watching people walk to work. There's a cafe on the corner of St. Mark's and 2nd Avenue, in New York City that I used to sit in between 7:30 a.m., I'm a morning person, and 10 a.m., drink coffee and watch these people go to work, and they were soulless and lifeless. And that was a big influence to see these people having their life just ebbed away from them. They take the same way to work, they grab the same Starbucks, they get on the same train, they sit next to or stand next to the same people, wouldn't say anything, they'd get off at the same stop, they'd walk the same place, they'd go up the same set of elevators, they'd go to the same desk, they'd sit down. It was all the same. They had given up asking, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And they were just in this zombie-like loss. And that's the driving, that image of people marching to their doom, and I have been there, is the driving thing behind Hello, My Name Is. So yeah, that's the terrifying grey that we're trying to pump colour into. Yeah, it's us against them. It's really funny that when it was just me and Amelia, it was always, our motto was outnumbered but never outgunned, which is, I think, a Prodigy album as well. Great album. And that was the really cool thing with me and Amelia. We would just hammer it down and go hardcore. But when there's 5 of us out there, it's like you walk into a battle that you can't lose. And you just beat them and pound them and beat them and pound them. And all of us just go ballistic. Like, it's punk rock. It's punk rock with synthesizers and video machines and guitars and shit fucking up. And like, that's part of the fun of it. Like, you'll see on the video that we took tonight, shit fucked up. And I was, during songs, madly fixing stuff and trying to get stuff happen. It's like, I don't want a perfect show. I want a car crash. I want to walk on stage going, not only what is going to fuck up tonight, but how are we going to fix it? And how are we going to come through at the end of it, like covered in sweat? Fuck yeah, breathless at the end of it, feeling like we have been beaten to death with a fucking club. I love that feeling. I love that feeling of absolute all-out war. It's us versus the audience, and all of us together are fighting apathy. I fucking love it. Yeah, I love it. It's like, it's actually funny. When we played in England, we played in Manchester the night of the riots, and it was not fun. It was terrifying, because we had 2,000 or 3,000 kids outside the venue who were rioting, and buildings on either side of us, there were spot fires in them. Kids were looting them, and I think 2 buildings or 3 buildings or something on that street were on fire. There was helicopter coverage. The guy who does Nick, who I fucking love, who does our security in England, he's a part of the Danish Guard. He spent time in Afghanistan. He's a NATO dude. And on that night, he just said, you're going to do what I tell you. That is, you're going to stay calm and chilled out. And when I say run, you're going to run. And we had to cut the set early. And I remember when we got out of there, we'd load stuff into the van. Then we had to stop loading stuff into the van because 30 or 40 kids with hoods and ski masks would run down the street. And it was a miracle our van didn't get trashed. And by the end of it, all we had to do was put our hoods up and put shit in the van, and they thought we were one of them. And when we drove out of there, we had to drive through a street full, 300, 400, 500 kids. I don't know. The street was full of kids. And these kids were 12. And it was terrifying. And I remember these kids, they had Nike Snickers in one hand and a bottle of vodka in the other. And they were drinking the vodka and they were going to set that shit on fire. And I remember when I was singing in the room, when we were rocking to that room full of kids, about 150, 200 kids, I remember that we were scared. We were fucking scared, but it was like, it meant something that we were there together and we were sharing this experience together. And I remember the lyrics, I was so proud because the lyrics that we worked on, they meant something. They were anti-corporation, they were anti-capitalist, they were anti-greed. And I remember fucking shouting them out and they meant something. And I'm so proud of that moment. And at that moment, there was unity with our tribe, our band, our audience, our friends. It was a humbling experience. Didn't answer the question again, but it rocked. when we first got off of the gig, we didn't know who the hell Blood on the Dance Floor were. And I remember we played a gig in Phoenix, and this very skinny, beautiful young guy came up to me. It was actually Jay, and he said, "I really like your band and I want you to tour with us." And he was such a humble guy. And we researched these guys, and they're huge. And Angelspit's one of their big influences. And they were asking us because they like us as a band, which was a real honor. Right now, they're playing to a room packed full of kids. Every single time we do this gig, there are lines that go around the block. And they asked us, and it was such a humble experience. Blood on the Dance Floor are basically two kids who love fashion with a laptop who want to offend people and scream obscenities. Angelspit are two kids with a laptop who love fashion, who scream at people and love obscenities too. So it's a match made in heaven. And now they've expanded to a 5-piece, we've expanded to a 5-piece. We have received so much flack from the dark wave community. People going, "Why the fuck are you doing this?" And we're getting snubbed so often at our gigs. People are not coming because they either hate us now or hate Blood on the Dance Floor. But one thing I throw to every single person is, how old were you when you discovered 9 Inch Nails, Marilyn Manson, Tool? And they go, "I was 12 or 14. And I go, "Okay, cool. We are playing to a room full of 12 to 14-year-olds every night. When we walk into these clubs, 90% of the kids have not heard of us before, do not know what goth is. If we were playing with Frontline Assembly or whoever, Combi Christ or V&V or whatever, 90% of those people have heard of us, and all of them know what Gothic Industrial is. These kids have no idea. So we are converting every night, or we are exposing hundreds of kids to the dark wave community. Then the dark wave community has a problem in which there's not enough young blood coming through. We have done this tour because we want to do something about this for our band, but also for our community at large. And it's like, well, if you like us, you're going to love Baal from Tokyo, Japan. You got to check out Skinny Puppy. We get promoters coming to our gigs, and we are getting them to flyer because these kids don't know what it is all about. And I keep saying to the promoters, how many kids go, how often do you have a club? And the promoter goes, "Oh, we have a goth club every 2 weeks. How many kids do you pull?" And they go, "Oh, about 100. And I go, "Well, okay, if you can pull 10% of the kids here tonight, you've almost halved again your numbers, because there are 500, 300, 400, 500 kids coming to these shows, and they see us walking around like hardcore fucking freaks. They want to know more. It's not just about Angelspit, it's about the dark wave audience. These kids want to know more. Touring with Blood on the Dance Floor is a fucking pleasure. They are the most wonderful bunch of people. Their crew, their management are so humble and helpful. We're also playing with a band called New Year's Day, who, if you like Ice Cantilla or the Birthday Massacre, you'll love New Year's Day. It's the funnest tour we've ever done. And every night now, it's really funny. The first gig we did was in San Diego, and we're at basically an afternoon center with like 300 kids between 12 and 14 there, and we're dressed like this, and I was going, I think we want to hold back, because normally like we go in front of these hardcore crowds of fucking goths, and we declare war on them. So we held back a little bit, and the kids were going, don't know. So then the next night in LA, we went even harder. And like we did 100%, like full on Angelspit assault, and the kids go, "Yeah, okay, we're into this." Then the next night in Hollywood, we tried 110%, and the kids were going, yeah, we want more. And what is crazy about this audience is that we cannot beat their fucking heads in enough. We are going all out as hard as we can possibly go, and they're going more. And I find that so exciting, because this audience are like, if this is the generation that are about to hit our clubs, fuck yeah, viva la fucking revolution, man. I am excited. Like, this is awesome. This is so fucking awesome. So I say to my wonderful dark-winged bat motherfucker brothers and sisters, be open and welcoming to the new generation that are coming, because they don't give a shit about rules or dark eye makeup, or they don't know who the Cure are or Sisters of Mercy. They don't give a fuck. They just want to rock. And that's exciting, because this whole thing is about no rules, no regulations. And we have covered ourselves in this genre in rules. And I think it's time that we drop that shit and we just focused on rocking. Dark, morbid, fucked up rocking. I had to preach. Yeah, I'm on a fucking mission. I've been doing the goth outreach thing forever. I used to run a website in Sydney called Sydney Gothic from the late 90s. And then it became Australian Gothic. And it's all about the community, because that's something that our community shares. This is the strong thing about our community, is that it's a community. And, you know, if you're a band and no one's heard of you and you get a club gig, you can go anywhere in the world and you can play to 50 to 100 people like that because you're a goth or industrial or whatever we're calling it these days. And it is extremely important that we always remember that our community is the oldest community that is still alive and strong. And that's why we've got to invite the young kids in, and we've got to stay strong and supportive. And if you like the band, buy their fucking merch, buy their CD, don't download it for free. If you like the club, go to the club. We've got to keep supporting, we've got to stay strong. So that's what it's all about. Donate to ReGen magazine, keep it fucking on the road. That's the mission, and all of us share it. You know, I know Eichel and Zach and Byron and Jed at Vampire Freaks, we're not doing this for the money, we're doing this because increasingly we're becoming leaders of a generation, and we have to replenish the generation, and we've got to keep it tight. And you ask any of the club runners, they're not doing the club for money, they're doing it for the community. That's how it is, and you've got to always remember that. That's it.